Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to the Cincinnati Asian Art Society's March 24th, 24 meeting. And I'm Helen Rinsberg, President of the Society. Today we welcome back Dr. Jennifer Goodland, who is here back by popular demand, because when she did a performance for us last spring, she, I don't know if you want to say made the mistake of saying, well, I could come back and do a performance, and the whole audience was like, yes, how soon? So we worked on the schedule, and here we are. This time it will be a full performance of the puppet show, and there will be time for question and answers at the end. Most wayang in Bali tells tales from the great Indian epics, but this performance is from a new cycle of stories called wayang tantri. In this story, King Sri Ajidharma is planning a big celebration and sends his clown servants to the forest to collect the needed supplies. But the king of the forest, Suramaya, does not like this plan. Jennifer Goodland is an associate professor at Indiana University in the Department of Comparative Literature, where she teaches classes on Indonesian and global theater, literature, and the other arts. She is now also director of the Southeast Asian and Asian Studies program at IU. She recently returned from a faculty exchange with, my Turkish is not good, Boğaziçi University in Istanbul, where she researched the shadow puppetry there. Jennifer has published numerous articles and 2 books, Women in the Shadows, Gender, Puppets, and the Power of Tradition in Bali, from Ohio University Press, 2016, Puppets and Cities, Articulating Identities in Southeast Asia, from Bloomsbury Mithun Drama, 2018. She has performed Balinese wayang kulit, or shadow puppetry, at international festivals and around the United States. Her current research looks at transnational Southeast Asian identities as expressed in performance, literature, and art. Jennifer is the recent past president of the Association for Asian Performance. We are about to begin Suramaya with Dr. Jennifer Goodland. Thank you.
Om Samo Samanri Pado Niro Hyang Guroroko Mogi Hulan Tan Kachek Rabo Mapan Wimodu Wani Halid Amungat Tantri Chari Taro Niro Midri Sangyang Sunyantaro Mangalikang Tatwo Chirito. Nidya Tantri is a beautiful young girl who was kidnapped by a terrible king. Her life and honor were in danger, but she entertained him night after night with wondrous animal stories. Her words were powerful. Like a dalang, or a puppet master, she brought new worlds to life. She inspired a new kind of wayang performance that is now called wayang tantri. This is one of those stories. Anum kamalingan gento hilang uang pustako. Apan mananasing oh, oh. Bulo bombong tinanggol. Uropaman naten len kaginucharo de hulun kayo mangge hulun arapanangun tapo ikang swijo karyo. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. It's so nice to meet you. My name is Pengalasam. Oh, I am one of the servants of this king. Oh, his name is Sri Ajidharma. Oh, I should ask for a blessing from him before I continue. Kertilagraho. Oh, thank you, my king. All right. So now I can tell you what is going on. You see, in a wayang kulit performance, the characters like this king speak Kawi. Who here speaks Kawi? Raise your hand. Really, really high. Oh, nobody? Well, that's okay. In Bali, they don't speak Kawi either. It's a lot like Latin. It's an old, important language, but, no one actually speaks it. So that's what I'm here for. I speak the language of the area we're in, so I will speak English today. Anyways, my king, Sri Ajidharma. Oh, he is really, really worried. Oh, my goodness. There's so many problems in the world. Oh, like wars and famine and climate change. Oh, he is hoping to plan a big ceremony. Oh, a big party, really. Oh, in order to bring people together, no matter their differences, whether they're Republican or Democrat or independent or whatever. Maybe if they all come together, they can celebrate and realize, hey, maybe we're not that different from each other. Anyways, I think it's a fantastic idea. So he's asking me and my friend here to go into the forest, the Malawa forest, in order to collect all the things we need. You see, there's not like a Myers or Kroger here in Bali, so we have to do things a little bit more differently. Anyways, so I want to make sure I tell him, because, if we're going to get animals and trees and flowers and food and all the things, we're pretty old. We're kind of small. I don't think I can do it all by myself. Yan mankano. Paman anak padro. Sigra. Luminous.
Oh, okay. I finally get to talk. Hi, everybody. Oh, yes, before I begin, I will ask for a blessing. Que telegrajo. Oh, okay. Thank you, my king. Okay, so he realizes it's a big ask to go into the forest and collect all of those things. So he is going to send us his soldiers and an elephant. Oh, wait, 2 elephants. Oh, and he's going to come and help us as well. He wants to make sure that we get the right stuff. Okay, my king. I think this is a great plan. We can help you. Okay. Sigroa!
Sassy Wimbo Hunting Gato. Oh my goodness. This is so exciting. I love a good party.
Yes, I think it's going to be amazing. I bet everyone will be there.
Yes. Oh, and I even hear he's going to get Taylor Swift to play the music.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. You can't get those tickets for anything.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I better get a new outfit to wear. I mean, I want to be able to impress all the girls and stuff.
Yeah, you shouldn't wear that.
Okay, so we're going to go to the shopping mall, and maybe I can get something from like Louis Vuitton or Michael Kors.
Wait. I think your budget is probably a little bit more like Old Navy, Walmart.
No. I heard about these new cool things called credit cards. I can just use a credit card, and then I can pay it later.
Oh dear. I don't think that's a good idea.
What do you mean that's not a good idea? It's like free money. Oh, I can buy all the things.
No. If you use a credit card, you will have to pay interest.
Interest? What's that? I mean, is it just interesting? I like interesting things.
No. It's money that's added on top of what you owe. You'll end up paying much more for something.
Oh, dear. That doesn't sound like a good plan at all.
It's not. You should stay away from credit cards. I've been listening to Dave Ramsey.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to figure something out in terms of clothes. But in the meantime, we better get going on this task.
Yes, it's going to take us a while to collect all the things from the forest.
All right. Let's go. Come on, soldiers. Let's get going.
Yes, off to the forest. Woohoo! Wow, we finally made it to Mellowalla Forest. It's so dark and kind of scary looking. I didn't realize that nature was that. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? There might be wild animals in there, like lions and tigers and bears.
Oh, my. Don't be so scared. We'll be fine. I mean, we're people overall. We are stronger, and we even have some weapons.
Oh dear, oh dear. I don't know. It sounds really scary.
Look, if you get scared, all you have to do is sing a song.
Sing a song?
Yeah. Animals get really all pieced out and stuff when they hear music.
Oh yeah, sing a song. I think I can do that.
All right? Okay, well, we better get going.
Okay, off we go to the forest!
To the forest! In the forest lives a powerful king. His name is Suramaya. He is the guardian of all the animals and plants and trees that make their home there. Together with his servants, Pondal and Clenching, he works hard to make the forest flourish.
Astu. Hello, everybody from Bali. Okay, out with the music. Music out. Yes, Om Swastiastu. That's how they say hello in Balinese. Oh, I can teach you. Follow me. Just copy what I say. Om. Swa. Sti. Ah. Stu. Om Swastiastu. Well, so nice to meet you. Not Bjorti, Pachik. Oh, Luwung. Oh, wait. Okay, I'll go back to English. That's right. All right, so I am here to help my boss, Suramaya, take care of the animals in the forest. But why am I at work alone? Where is my friend Clenching? Clenching! Come here. Come on, he is always so late. Oh, don't sneak up on me like that.
I'm here. I made it.
Why are you always so late? Oh, I end up getting started without you.
Well,
Were you sleeping?
no.
Were you eating?
No.
Having a second cup of coffee?
No.
Well, then what then?
I know. I was late in order to make you look better. Yes. So that you get here before me and everyone thinks you're the best.
I don't know if I believe him.
Okay, fine. That's what you say.
All right. Anyways, we have to get started. Those cows are not going to get to the grass themselves. Those monkeys need help with the bananas, and we've got to water the flowers.
Oh, okay.
So you go get started. I actually have an idea I want to talk to our boss, Suramaya, about.
Okay. I will see you in a bit.
Go.
Going. Oh, dear.
All right, Suramaya, where are you?
Oh, my goodness. You would think those lazy workers of mine would already be out there in the forest helping with those cows. They are not there yet. I swear, you just can't get any good help any days. I mean, employment is down. All of the quiet quitting. What are we going to do? I mean, they keep asking if they can work from home. How can you take care of cows from home? Ridiculous. I mean, computers can do a lot, but they can't do that. I mean, ChatGPT is not going to feed a cow.
Hey, boss.
What?
Oh, I wanted to talk to you. I have an idea for the cows.
An idea for the cows? Okay. What is it?
Well, I think we should take them to market.
Take them to market?
Yeah, like a field trip, except they don't come back.
I don't think that's a great idea. I mean, they might like a field trip. I hear the Taft Museum in Cincinnati is really nice. But not to market. Why would you want to take the cows to market?
What, to sell some of them?
Sell some of them? Why?
Well, we've been working really hard, and I thought we could take a vacation to Cancun.
No, you cannot take a vacation. You need to take care of the cows and do not take them to market.
Oh, okay. You're no fun.
All right, get going. We've got a lot to do today.
Moo. 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 Moo.
Hey, cow!
Moo.
What you doing?
Moo.
What's that? You want grass? Oh. I don't know. I might be able to hook you up with some grass.
Moo.
Oh, that kind of grass. All right, the field's over there. Come on, let's go.
Moo. Do, 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 do. Oh, wow. The forest is so dark. Oh, my goodness. What is it? What is it that Pangalasam told me to do? Oh, yeah, that's right. To sing a song if I'm scared. Okay, maybe all of you could help me sing a song. Sing along with me, please. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high. Good time and tiger, tiger. Oh, I outran that lion, that tiger. Oh my goodness, I've never been so scared. Oh, wow. Now I'm kind of tired. I think I'll take a nap right here. This looks like a good spot. Oh. What? Monkey, what are you doing? Something kicked me. It was to you. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to go back to sleep. You be a good monkey. Don't be a naughty monkey. Okay, I'm going to sleep. Yawn. Oh. Hey, monkey, that was very naughty. You did it again. Yes, you did. Oh, my goodness. I can't stand this. All right, let's keep working. Oh, man, it has been a busy day taking care of those animals. I can't believe Suramaya doesn't think we deserve a vacation. Oh, dear, it has been rough. Oh. Whoa. What on earth was that? Oh, my goodness. What's going on? I think there's some intruders in the forest. Moo! Moo! Oh no, the cow's upset! Moo! I'm going to have to go tell Suramaya that something is going on. Oh my goodness! Suramaya! Suramaya! Where are you? I found some intruders in the forest.
What? Intruders in the forest? Don't be ridiculous.
Yes, yes. Look. Oh, they're taking all the trees. They're taking all of the flowers.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yes, we've got to do something.
Wait, let me talk to the animals.
Okay, I'm gonna go find Glenching. Glenching!
Hey, you animals! You are born in the world just like people. You deserve to be in the forest. We have intruders. We need to do something about it. Let's go. I need you to fight. Be strong and brave. Roar. 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 Roar.
Moo. 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 Uh-oh. Moo. 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 Ha. 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 Oh my goodness, do you hear all that ruckus? I think the animals are fighting back.
Oh dear. But, if you think about it, maybe it's not so nice to take the animals. Maybe it's not so nice to destroy their forest.
Yeah, I think so. Oh dear, this is turning into a mess. It was supposed to be a big party. Oh dear, let's go find Ajidharma and see what to do.
Yet no. Ajidharma, where are you?
Mati!
Okay, I think maybe. Oh dear, they're not leaving. Oh no, look what Sri Ajidharma is doing. He's transforming. Wait, I can do that too. I know how. Masi Mano Suramaya Durgadato.
King Sri Ajidharma, Puris Puti! Rangdo!
Sri Ajidharma, Suramaya Tadlen Bapo Sangyang Budo, Ketalagrahola Wangito, Anan Zero Charkio, Anyayo Bagai Pakaloon.
Oh my goodness, that was so exciting.
Yeah, it sure was.
Oh, I think we better take a moment maybe to explain to our audience what on earth just happened.
Yeah, I think it's important. So you see, Suramaya was not happy that Sri Ajidharma was taking stuff from the forest.
Yeah, it's okay to go into the forest and appreciate nature. You might even pick a flower or two.
Yes, but he was cutting all of the trees down. He was taking all of the animals. He was going to, start a circus.
I know, it was terrible. There wouldn't be any more forest. There wouldn't be any more animals. I mean, harmony among humans is important, but harmony with the world, with nature, is just as important.
Yes, in Bali, that's a very important concept of balance. Rua Benida.
Yes, Rua Benida. So anyways, they went and fought Sri Ajidharma and Suramaya. It was like, who's going to win? Someone's in this corner, and then someone's in this corner. Oh, it looked like Suramaya was going to win.
Yes, but Sri Ajidharma had a trump up his sleeve. He decided to turn into the spirit of the forest, the barong.
Yes, the big barong. But Suramaya wasn't to be undone. Oh, he turned into Rangda, the evil witch.
Yes, the barong and Rangda are very important characters in Bali.
Yes, their two masks even sit next to each other in the temple.
You might wonder, how do these long enemies end up next to each other?
Again, it's about balance. You need to have the good in order to understand the bad. Yes, so they fought and fought, but there really wasn't a clear winner. And then what happened? Who was that other guy? Oh, then the Buddha came down. Oh, the Buddha. Yeah, Buddhism is also important in Bali.
Yes, and he told Sri Ajidharma to stop destroying the forest, to work together with Suramaya. Maybe they could have the party in the forest and invite all of the animals.
Yes, and then the cows would get to go on a field trip, but not to market.
Yes, I think it's a great idea.
Oh my goodness, what a great story.
Yeah, there's lots of great stories in different wayangs. I mean, this is wayang tantri, but there's also Mahabharata and Ramayana and on and on and on.
Yeah, it's such a great thing. We've had so much fun.
Yeah, I think we would,
Oh my goodness, it's the music.
Yeah, it's like the Oscars. Okay, well, we gotta go.
It was so nice meeting all of you. And now we will answer your questions about the show.
Yes, thank you so much.
Where do you want us to be, hon?
Okay.
Right there? Okay, fine. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank
And thanks
you.
to my
Thank you
husband,
so
you
much.
can see her from the back. Okay. Who's got the first question? Oh, come on.
Yes.
Yes, Vicki.
Oh.
Elaine?
Tina, can you grab me water?
Okay.
How long is a regular performance if you were in Bali doing one of these in the evening
Yeah.
without tourists around you?
Sure. Regular performances, it's about 3 hours, and they're late at night. In Java, there's also a version of wayang kulit, and those are all night long. But in Bali, they're a little bit shorter. So 3 hours is the usual. Yeah.
So your topic today was very somewhat contemporary, sort of universal yet contemporary. So is that typical? Would it, and those 3-hour performances, would
Can you
it
just
be
repeat
one
the question?
continuous play
Sure.
or groups of plays?
Yeah, I'm repeating the question so that Mike will pick that up. So the question was if it's typical to include contemporary things in the story. And yes, that is. So quite often before a performance, the dalang or the puppeteer would sit and eat food, drink tea, and talk with the hosts who are sponsoring the performance. Like, what's some of the gossip in the village? Or what are some of the problems?
Ooh.
What's happening, current events? And then those would all be woven into the performance through the clown characters. So it's the clown characters. They always speak Bahasa Daerah, which means the language of the area. So in Bali, they speak Balinese. If it's a audience for a more national performance, they'd speak Indonesian, and of course we're here, so I'm speaking English. And even if a Balinese dalang was here, if he spoke English, he would have the clowns speak so that you could understand the performance. And I think you had one other question.
A 3-hour performance, is it a continuous play or is it sort of little vignettes or groupings?
It's one section of a story, so it's a continuous story of that. So if you're familiar with the Mahabharata, which is the most common story source, it's super, super long. So they will tell just a little section of it, but within the 3 hours, there's a beginning, middle, and end of that section. And like the tantri stories, it's a story cycle from India. I think it's very similar to like 1001 Arabian Nights, and that it's a woman who has been abducted and is telling stories each night. So that has a number of different stories. So those have been turned into wayang.
Religious affiliation with the stories or these?
Yeah, so in Bali, they're Hindu. I like to say Balinese Hindu because it's very different than what's practiced in India. And it does have a stronger Buddhism and also probably a lot of Balinese animism mixed into it. But the performing arts are part of an offering for the gods. So they would be performed for a temple ceremony or for like a marriage, or tooth filing is something that often happens to adolescents, and that's an important ceremony. So wayang is something you have to have for it to be an efficacious ritual. And of those different performing arts, this is considered the most important. The puppeteer or dalang is really a type of priest in Balinese society. Water is very important to Balinese religion, and only the highest priests and dalang can make holy water, and there's like a ceremony that's involved in a puppet performance to do that. But also, the dalang is, the necessary audience is the gods. So a performance would happen even if nobody showed up, because the gods are there to watch it. And that's also why the puppets are so colorful and beautiful. But the gods are...
You want me to get a couple out?
Yeah, do you want to grab a few, Tina? And we can pass them around. The gods are speaking through the puppets as well. So it's thought that that's where a lot
I'll
of the
just take these
wisdom
two on top.
and things to do is coming from. But then the dalang is the one who brought this world to life and can kill a character and bring them to life in the next performance. So the dalang is a type of god as
Would you give
well.
that
So
to
it's
Diane?
kind of all of those different layers. But yes, it's definitely religious. You can see too, I have offerings. So the puppets, mine included, go through a ceremony with the dalang to be married and are made sacred objects. The older a
Diane, if
puppet
you
is,
pass it
the
back.
more of that sacred energy it has collected.
There you go.
And sometimes people who couldn't afford a puppet performance
pass it on.
might just actually like pay my puppet teacher to sit near the puppets to soak up some of that spiritual energy. But yeah, so I give offerings for the puppets. Yeah.
Is there more than one puppeteer typically?
No, there's always, she asked if there's more than one puppeteer. It's always just one puppeteer who's doing the entire performance. Yep. Even in Java, when it's all night long, it's one puppeteer. Although they have singers and other things. The one thing I don't have that you would typically have is
wanted
an
to see the
assistant
rabbit.
sitting off to each side to help with the coordination of the puppets. As you can imagine, in a 3-hour performance, they get a lot more tangled. I've been working so that we can have a way of presetting the puppets that I could do it by myself and just with the one assistant. But yeah, typically there would be 2 assistants, a group of live musicians, and then the puppeteer does the rest.
Question down here.
Yep. Yeah.
If it has like multiple like thingies, do you use your feet?
I don't for controlling the puppet. I actually am doing the percussion with my feet. Tina, if you want to grab the chapolo. But I hold both. I can hold up to 2 puppets, or even like if they're not doing a lot, I can hold a couple puppets in each hand. There also, as you can see, that it looks like it's a pool noodle for here. But in Bali, it would be a banana log, which is a squishy kind of wood, so you can stick the puppets into it. So when there's multiple puppets kind of on screen at the same time, you don't have to physically hold all of them. And as you're passing them around, you can see that that main body stick is quite sharp, so that you can stick it into the banana log. So behind the stage, you can kind of see there, I've got the chapolo in my foot, and I'm hitting it against the box in order to make the percussion. So it's a specialized job. Usually there's a puppet maker, someone paints them, some people make the sticks, someone gets they're made out of cow leather, so someone gets the cow leather. I studied with Iwayan Tunjung, and he's a little bit of an anomaly because he also carves puppets and really loves doing that. So a good number of these puppets he made. He doesn't do his own painting, though, so he has a cousin who does his painting of them. And I have studied how to make the puppets, and I have a couple. I don't even think any of the ones I've made with me because they're not very good. Oh, yes?
Yeah, the puppeteer, Walang, is that what you said?
Dalang. So it's Dalang.
So you said that some of them rarely make their own puppets, but if they don't, do you just go to a market where there's a puppet maker?
Yeah, well, you would usually order. He asked about where they would get the puppets from, and they usually would order them, meet with the puppet maker, and talk about designs. It used to be puppeteers would sort of borrow each other's puppets in order to copy designs. Of course, now they can use a Xerox machine and Xerox the designs for each other. But if you compare puppets from one maker to another, there is variation and creativity. The animal puppets, so my teacher, his teacher was Iwayan Widya, and he loves making lots of innovative puppets. And so he liked the wayang tantri stories because he could create all of these like really dynamic and crazy animal puppets. It is, and quite often, a puppeteer will inherit their father's puppets. So puppets get passed down from generation to generation because to just get a set of puppets is really quite expensive. A lot of my research has been on women puppeteers and really the lack of women puppeteers. And one of the real obstacles is they don't have their family set of puppets. They have to start buying them. And I'd say they cost anywhere, and between like $20 for a very simple puppet like an elephant to several $100s for some of the large, like that barong. If you bought that from a puppet maker, would probably be up to $500 because the amount of time it takes. In the back? Oh, over here, yes.
How did the people like make that tapper thing?
To make the puppets?
The tapper thing.
Oh, the tapper thing. It's made out of wood, so they just carve it. If you want to see. Yeah, it's just a hardwood. Yep.
So that's made of leather?
Yeah, they're cow leather.
So they're using punches to do that?
Yeah, they have metal chisels that they use, and then you hammer it, and so the chisels are in a variety of shapes, so you can kind of cut out the different shapes with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Are they ever used without the screen?
Yes, he asked if the puppets are ever used without the screen, and in Bali, they are. There's a type of performance called wayang lema, and it's daytime wayang, and it's really just for temple ceremonies. So the dalang has the two trees on each side with the banana log and a string so that you have something to rest the puppets against. But that performance is really just for ritual purposes. No one watches it. I mean, you have to have it, but it's for the gods. And so I would go with my puppet teacher or go watch people doing those performances, and it made me really an oddball that I would sit there and watch them do the story. It's one reason, and also it's just because they're for the gods that they have to be beautiful colors. He asked why they're painted. I also think there's an important part of being a puppeteer where you have to menyatu, or become one with the puppets. And it's really hard to do that when they're not painted and don't have their own character. So, and this is just my guess, it really helps in the performance for them to be a really particular character, to switch the voices and stuff between the puppets. Oh, yeah.
So how long did it take you before you could do your very first show, Jen?
She asked how long it took me. I studied for about 1.5 years before I did a performance, and I was in Bali on a Fulbright and would go 3 to 4 times a week to meet and practice. It's interesting. One of the women, a couple of the puppeteers I had interviewed and asked them how long they had studied before they did their first performance, and they'll say a month or 2. But I think that's not allowed. I think that's when they decided to finally give performances. If you grow up around it and playing with the puppets and watching the stories, I mean, you're basically studying for years and years. But I've been studying since 2007? 2007.
So do you know Balinese?
I do know some Balinese, yeah. I was going to say, I speak Indonesian fluently, Balinese pretty good. Balinese, it has a bunch of different levels, and because I'm a foreigner and outside the caste system, it's hard for Balinese to communicate in Balinese with me because we don't know what level of Balinese to use with each other. But, yes?
Historically, what was the social context? For example, would rural peasants ever see this?
He asked what the social context was. And in Bali, it's for everybody. It's part of each village has their own temples, and so they have to have wayang performances as part of those. So certainly the palace would sponsor and hold their own performances, but it's not a court performance. It's a religious performance where, again, to compare it to Javanese wayang kulit, which really developed as a court performance and was sponsored by the nobility or very rich people, and that's still who usually sponsors a performance in Java. But in Bali, an entire village, if they're having a big cremation ceremony, part of all pitching in their money to do this ceremony will be to hire a puppeteer to come and give the performance. And certainly if you're a richer person, you're able to then just do that yourself. We're having a ceremony when a baby is 60 days, they can touch the ground for the first time, and they have kind of a big celebration for that. So it certainly would be a status symbol to be able to have and sponsor a puppet performance as part of that, rather than just having maybe a musician. Yes?
Are any of the puppets that you have representing a female?
Yes, I do. Tina, can you grab the tantri puppet? She should be, I think, ended up on that side. They do. And I've made it sort of a mission of mine to know more stories with women characters. But of the hundreds of performances I've seen very few female characters on stage. So this is tantri. But a lot of the female puppets also look very much alike. And I can pass her around. My teacher at Ohio University, William Condi, had gone several times to learn a little bit about the puppets. And so he knew a professor there, and he was buying some puppets to be able to use at Ohio to teach a class. And he was like, well, what female characters do I need? And Professor Sadhana said, really, just get 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. They're interchangeable. So, and I think it's because, it's a men performing the women characters, so they probably don't do as many. But Ibu Trijata, who was one of the first women puppeteers, one of the first stories she learned was with female characters. So there's idea that your voice has to go along with the characters. And I do get complimented by Balinese that I'm good at the men voices. And I think I did my Master of Fine Arts at University of Hawaii, where in the Asian theater program, they bring in specialists and we study a different Asian theater form each year and then perform it. Like we did kabuki and Chinese opera, kyogen. I'd always get cast as these big male characters. So I feel like I had 3 years of like training in male voices before I went to Bali to learn the wayang, and it was really advantageous because it does really allow me to do a lot more with the voices.
Okay, you got Arlo down there on the floor?
Yeah.
Can we like look at those guys on top of each other?
Yeah, Tina, you want to grab? And those you can show people, but let's not pass those around. So that one, and there's another one similar to that on the other side, and they're the guardians of the screen. So they don't appear in the performance, but rather they guard. The right side of the screen is normally for the refined or the good characters, and this side of the screen is usually for the kasar or the rough characters. And then I also have these tree puppets, and these are really special. They were my puppet teacher's grandfather's puppets. So as I said, a puppet that's old has gathered a lot more spiritual strength. And before I left Bali after doing my Fulbright, he gave those to me and told me I should always have them on either side of the screen in order to protect my performance from black magic and to make sure that the performance remains safe. So every time I perform, I always use those puppets. And I feel like it was really special of him to have given me those.
Back there and then back to Arlo. And then, I don't know if I saw a hand over there. Okay, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, it seemed to me like the clown characters had maybe like a donkey image or a crocodile. Were they supposed to be wearing masks? And what's the significance of that sort of animation or animal qualities?
Yeah. Tina, you want to grab a couple of the clowns?
Here's one.
I was going to say, a lot of it is just so in most of the characters, there's sort of a continuum from the refined characters, which would be physically small, their eyes are looking down, smaller eyes, they're not showing their teeth, to the unrefined characters who are like big mouth, maybe their tongue sticking out. But the clown characters are just completely off of that continuum and just sort of made to look so that they're amusing. Yeah, as I say, and this is clenching. So these clown figures are made up for the tantri stories, so they don't appear really in other stories. So the puppeteer was really able to be creative and have a lot of fun. I know my teacher really loves how clenching moves and is like, I don't know, oh, my goodness. And that he's kind of timid and shy like that. So when I was given these puppets, I spent some time having to play with them. He's like, just take them home and work with them to figure out what their voices are. When I perform like a Mahabharata story, I have the clowns Tualen, Merda, Delam, and Sangut. And like Tualen is similar to Semar, if anyone's familiar with that Javanese character. But they're set. They always look the same, and they have to sound very similar. Tualen, no matter who the puppeteer is, has to sound like Tualen, or Merda has to sound like Merda. So those voices were given to me, and I had to match my puppeteer. But for these voices, I really spent time trying to think of, well, what does the puppet look like? And how would he act? And what does his voice sound like? And sometimes I'd come and I'd try something out for my teacher, and he's like, no, keep working on it. You don't have it. And Suramaya, when I finally came with the voice for him, my teacher was like, that's perfect. It sounds just like, what's that character from SpongeBob SquarePants? Patrick. It sounds just like Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants. I was like, okay. It's very popular in Indonesia.
And another one.
Can we like see the buffalo with the horns?
Yeah, Tina, you want to grab the buffalo? This one? Yeah, grab the big buffalo. And you can pass him around. Yeah, he's the big cow. Yeah.
Do they still use candles in Bali?
Yes, she asked if they still use what they use for the light source, and Bali still uses an oil lamp, and they use coconut oil, and there's like a cotton wick in it, and it's actually in front of the puppeteer so that the light's closer and you perform around it. It really is beautiful because it creates this, like, even when the puppets are still, the shadows are moving, and that's another quality that's really important in Bali. It's called kehidupan, or liveliness, that they have to look like they're always alive and breathing. So they've continued using fire when almost every other shadow puppet tradition around Southeast Asia, China, India, Turkey has switched to using an electric light because it creates, it's easier, it creates such a brilliant shadow. So, but Bali continues to use the fire. Although they really frown on me trying to do that inside buildings in the U.S. So I do have an oil lamp, but I just have it at home. It's pretty. Yeah. Yeah.
Is shadow puppetry embraced by the younger generation, or is it under decline?
She asked if shadow puppetry is in a decline, and it is not. In any part of Indonesia. Performances are still attended by everybody. It's just part of, like, you know, having lilies at a church service. It's just part of something that happens, or a Christmas pageant. So they're just around it and enjoy watching it. When a performance happens in Bali, they don't sit quietly. There's a lot of other things happening. People are bringing food. People are going and getting food. There might be gambling over there, another gamelan, a priest over there praying over a microphone, because you can, topeng or masked drama going on. So it's part of, like, this cacophony of sounds and things that are happening. So people will go watch their favorite part. They might wander off. Kids love to come and watch from the back of the screen and try and touch the puppets and get swatted away. But like some of the really popular puppeteers, like Cenk Blanc in Bali is he's like a superstar. There'll be thousands of people sitting on a hill to watch him perform, and he's really innovative. He performs actually with a really big screen. His puppets are larger. He'll have jumbotrons off to the side. He uses, like, strobe lights, has a large orchestra, and of course he gets criticized for not doing the traditional type of puppetry, but I think that's what tradition is it's constantly changing and innovating so that it speaks to current generations. And even in Java, I was just there about a year ago, and all of the wayang just had tons of people watching, interacting, and enjoying the performances. So there's no danger of it disappearing. Oh, yeah.
So all the days before you can play recording music, how this music is incorporated?
Yeah, so you would have live musicians, and when I get to, I prefer playing with live musicians, even if it's not Balinese music. There is a real energy between the performer and the musicians. For wayang tantri, they'd use a full gamelan ensemble for the performance, and the dalang cues them with their foot. And there's, like, set songs. There's, like, this is the travel music. This is, you know, the court meeting music. This is the romantic music, a fight music. So there's no practice or rehearsal ahead of time. The performer, because the dalang is improvising. There's not, like, I have the kawi bits written down to make sure I get those right, but otherwise it's improvised, and I think I even did some things different than I told you I was going to.
So all of a sudden I see Jen, her hand goes up, and I'm like, okay, that's where she wants me to do this. I will do this now. This. So yeah, it's fun to be able to
have that communication with that. So yeah, they all in Bali they always use live music, and it does give such a nice quality to it. I do one of There's an idea in Bali called desa kala patra, which is time, place, circumstances. And so things can be adjusted to what makes sense. And so, like, I throw in that Balinese rock song, the Om Swastiastu, because I feel like that captures that character so well. There's another version I do where I've used like the Lone Ranger for the fight scenes. So you can always play with it, but yeah, the recorded music is not the norm, and I feel like you're not getting quite as good of experience, but yes.
I just wondered, at your home, these are so beautiful. Do you have a way that you display them, or they just go in a box?
She asked how I keep them at my home, and they go in a box. In Bali, they would all go in the puppet box that's there, and it's to really be a puppeteer, you have to have a box. Tina's grabbing it. So they go in there, and the lid actually locks on, and it locks to keep the puppets in, not to keep people out. So they'll be stored in there. Because I have several different sets, and I am really trying. The weather temperature differences here are a little bit harder on them. I actually have shelves where they're sorted into their types, and so there's not quite so many on top of each other. But yeah, I've got a couple that aren't painted on the other side that are like, beautiful puppets for display. But these are the working puppets. They've got to earn their keep. They don't get to just be pretty.
Is there a true right hand or left hand? If there is there any significance? And are the performances getting any more conservative than they might have been in the past?
I asked if there's a true right hand or left hand, and if the performances are getting conservative. So the right side always has the significance of those being the refined characters, and the left is the unrefined. And of course, in Bali, like a lot of other Asian countries, you don't use your left hand hardly at all. Like, you wouldn't give someone money or shake their hand or touch them. The left hand is considered unclean, so you use your right hand. So I think that's why there's that preface or that significance. In terms of the performances getting conservative, wayang is a performing art where the performances, they can be more political and be a little bit more radical, and they've historically been so. It's a place where, they can break the rules. They're not as subject to censorship as well. So I would say no, but it also depends on the context. I know that there are some performers, especially in some of the cities in Java, as Islam has been getting a little bit more conservative there, have had to maybe make some adjustments for that. But it really, again, I'd say it depends on the time, place, and circumstances. Yes, our camera operator.
You refer to the right and left side. That's from the point of view of the puppeteers, or is it the idea that the gods are over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's from the right and left hand of the puppeteer.
Back to Arlo.
Yes.
Can we see the dragony thingy?
Oh, the barong. Tina, will you grab the barong? I know it was going around, but. Oh, okay. Yes.
So I noticed when you perform, your hands sometimes string the puppet. Is that just give a variety of movement, or there's other reason?
Yeah, no, it's just a variety of movement. And again, movement makes the puppet look alive. I guess that's always just how I was taught and shown how to do it, especially the clown characters are always doing that kind of take. As far as I know, there's no real significance for it. Here's the barong.
Did you have a question? Yeah, actually I do. Okay. Could you share with us a little bit about your personal journey in terms of how you got to this point in life?
Sure. I wanted to do theater since I was 6, and I went to undergrad at Kalamazoo College and majored in theater and women's studies and wanted to be a theater director. I moved to New York City and worked at a lot of small feminist theaters for a number of years. Finally hit that point where I needed a Master of Fine Arts in order to kind of get more paying gigs. And I applied to a bunch of schools, but I was really interested in Hawaii. I'd taken an Asian theater class at Kalamazoo and thought, that's the most interesting, weird thing I've ever seen. I don't know what I'll do with that, but that's neat. And I realized so many of the directors like Julie Taymor, if you've seen Lion King, or like Peter Brook or Mary Zimmerman, are influenced by different types of Asian performance. And also I was studying Kyokushin karate and really loving that and wanting to find a way to bring, I think, both that aesthetic but also that mind-body work into my theater work. I mean, Western realism is so just in your mind and not physical. It's not theatrical. So, and it was really cold in New York City the year I picked my MFA program, so Hawaii also sounded really good. So I focused my MFA on Japanese theater, but halfway through, I took a class in Southeast Asian performance, and again, was just blown away with it. I just have to know more about this. And so I started taking Indonesian language. In 2004, after I finished my MFA, I was accepted to a program to study Indonesian language in Indonesia, in northern Sulawesi, which is not known for its performance. But it was also during the first presidential election. When I went to Hawaii, the program was very focused on the aesthetics of the performance, almost kind of outside of what the actual culture is, and they've changed this now. But so I was really struck by all of the history and culture and became just really interested in Indonesia for Indonesia's sake. So after a couple of years of doing some teaching and some freelance directing, I went back for my PhD, and I went to Ohio University for interdisciplinary arts, which I thought was the perfect place to study Asian performance. And they also have one of the best Southeast Asian studies centers in the country. So I did my PhD there and kind of ended up falling into Bali. One of my professors from Kalamazoo had asked me, he said, you used to do all this stuff with feminist theater, and now you're doing Asian theater. How do those two things go together? And I was then kind of just reading a book that mentioned in passing, there's all of these Balinese performing arts that used to be men only, but now women are doing them. So my Fulbright was technically to go study women in all sorts of performance, and I did. I studied mass dance and dance and Kachek, but I kept doing more and more with the puppetry. I was invited to give a performance for the Ubud Festival, and at that point my teacher said, well, now you have to go through the ritual initiation to really become a dalang. So I had to go to 9 holy springs based on my birthday. There's a ceremony that you get married to the puppets. It really takes a couple months to go through all of that, and I realized, well, this is my focus. I think this is what I have to do, and I have continued. I go back to Bali pretty regularly to continue learning more, and I feel like it's such an honor and privilege to take that and to share it with different audiences, and hopefully also get them interested not just in the performing arts of Indonesia, but also about like the history and culture of those amazing places.
Question over here.
Yeah.
During the Suharto period, did this medium present dissident views, and did they live to tell about it?
Yeah, he was asking during the Suharto period or the New Order if this type of performance was able to sort of, that was a period of really strict controls in Indonesia on freedoms, and especially you weren't allowed to speak out about the government. And yeah, puppet performances and the performing arts were always trying to find ways. They had to be a bit more subversive. Like there's a playwright, W.S. Rendra, who wrote a play, the Naga Tribe, and he uses the structure of a wayang, kind of this mysterious land, in order to criticize the government and their policies and what they were doing to education and to the environment. But they were able to do it because we weren't doing it directly criticizing. So yes, but I think that these types of performing arts had the most potential to be subversive.
Do I see a hand over there?
What's the material you're using for the screen, and is it traditional?
Yes, she asked about the material for the screen. It's just like a cotton, and that's what they use in Bali. What is traditional is the framing of it with the black and white checked pattern is kind of one of the most sacred fabrics in Bali because, again, as they said in the performance, what's really important is that idea of balance. And that's expressed in this fabric. It's got the black and the white, but then also the gray where the two come together. So if you see like Balinese statuary, especially when it's around time for ceremonies, you'll see this type of fabric tied around them, and it's because it expresses that idea of balance. And so that's probably the most typical for a wayang screen. I have seen some puppeteers where it's red or it's just black as well. But yeah, and then it's attached. In Bali, they don't have their own stage that they travel with. Whoever's hosting the performance will build the screen, the frame for it, and then the puppeteer brings the actual screen, and then they attach it very similar to this. Yeah, it'd be nice. I haven't started demanding that of people. Be like, well, here's the sketch of what you need to build for me. Yeah, the puppeteer, the musicians all come to his house. They load everything up into the truck and all of the puppets, and head on off to wherever the performance is. Yeah.
So are most puppeteers male?
They're almost all male. There's really no females practicing regularly.
Why is that?
It's because it's several different reasons. One is because it's so religiously important, and the puppeteer is a type of priest, and that wouldn't be appropriate for a woman. Also, when a woman is menstruating, she cannot go into the temple, and so there's also a lot of angst about, well, if we hire a puppeteer and then she gets her period, what are we going to do for our performance? There's also fear that the puppeteer wouldn't tell you they're on their period and do the performance anyway, which is very, very bad. So for a long time, women weren't allowed to touch the puppets, and even today, very, very few women are in the audience. I mean, it's late at night, people are smoking and drinking arak, and the mothers have to be home taking care of their children and the house and such. So it's really still mostly a male art form. It's almost 15 years ago, I had like a carpenter. I showed him the dimensions, and I was like, I need a screen that is light. I can tear it down and put it in my car, and I need to be able to put it together and take it apart pretty quickly, and he built me this. Yeah, it's worked marvelously.
Just real quickly.
Yeah.
Is it always at ground level, or can it be on a raised stage and still use your feet?
Yeah, he asked if it was always on ground level. It's the puppeteer is always on the same level as the screen. Quite often in Bali, they have like those platforms is usually where like people will sit, and there's a roof over it. Like houses and things are more like a compound. I mean, the weather's nice, so you can be outside more. So the puppeteer would be in that kind of compound area, so they would be above where the audience is seated typically. The screen is tilted, I mean, both to help with the sight lines of that, but even more importantly is it helps the puppeteer, the puppets, manipulate much better when it has that little bit of gravity working for you.
So are most puppeteers in Bali able to do that for a living full time, or is it more like a side gig?
She asked if most puppeteers can do it for a living, and no, most puppeteers, I mean, a lot of artists in Bali aren't able to be artists full-time. Since the opening of the arts universities, a lot of artists will have degrees from those universities, which allows them to get government jobs. So they might work in the tourism department or the cultural department. Some people will have their own shops. My puppet teacher was a little bit, I mean, he's such an anomaly, but his wife is an OBGYN and quite well known, and so she's able to support the family, and so he just does puppets full time, and when their son was little, stayed home with their son. But that is not the typical. You don't get paid enough regularly in order to make a living unless, and even quite often the tourist shows, a whole community will do the tourist show because then the money goes for the temple. They're doing it as sort of their offering for their community. Yeah.
So given that most puppeteers are male, did you face a lot of challenges, becoming
A puppeteer?
Yeah.
I realized only retroactively that I've met other Americans who are like, they've gone because they're interested in the puppeteer, and they can find people who will teach them to make the puppets, or they can go watch a performance, but no one will teach them to perform the performance. And I met my teacher by just luck. Tina and I were in Ubud for a summer, and there was one of the largest cremation ceremonies they'd said in several decades, because like several people in the royal family had all died at once. And so they have these huge sarcophagi that are parading through the streets. I got kind of ran over by one and ended up in an ambulance, but that's another story. So they had gotten them to the graveyard and realized they're really too big to even just completely set fire to without burning Ubud down. So they had to take them apart and start burning them in sections. So we went several days after to kind of check it out. We ended up talking with someone, and he was like, oh, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, I'm studying arts and culture, dance. And Tina was like, and puppets, because you really like the puppets. And he's like, well, I know someone who could teach you about the puppets. And I'm kind of like, well, I already know that guy from the university. I'm good. But I always say yes to everything. And so I'm like, sure, whatever. So the next day he meets us in his car. We drive about 2 blocks and then get out and go into like this family compound. And I sat and met Tunjung and had tea. We just hit it off. And he's like, I will teach you systematically, come here 3 days a week, and we will get started. And so he just continues to be a really close friend and teacher of mine. In terms of being a foreigner and a woman, I think I get away with it as a woman because I'm a foreigner. I mean, of course, there is a long history of like cultural exchange in Bali. Balinese artists coming and learning from people in the U.S., lots of people from the U.S. coming and learning Balinese dance, gamelan, masked dance. So there's always foreigners who are sort of interested in the performing arts. That doesn't raise an eyebrow. But I mean, of course, I was doing something really different. I have heard offhand gossip of some people maybe not being very happy with me doing the performance. And I did do a performance once in a temple. It was for a poorer village, is why we had sort of arranged that I would do the performance. And it was kind of like neat because Balinese love novelty. But Tunjung was really worried about there being black magic and something going wrong with the performance. And he even spent like a lot of time checking out the area and making sure it's safe and that. And I think part of that is because people could be upset that it's a foreigner doing it. So, but I also meet a lot of Balinese who think it's really great, or at least to my face, they think it's really great. But I'm sure that there's both sides.